ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackwitz. Welcome to the Kaged Review, and this is going to be my review of Suicide Squad. Continuing on with my MCU and DCEU movie reviews, we have gotten to a very divisive movie. This one was pretty controversial, not politically, but just what DC has done with the characters involved in the movies and some of the choices they've made along the way are really questionable, and especially in Suicide Squad. I think overall DC, as far as the movie studio, Warner Brothers, they've made some very, very good movies and just some absolute garbage movies. And this one, well, it can be either one depending on who you talk to. So directed by David Ayer, you have Viola Davis plays Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller is a government agent who decides to get a bunch of bad people, think of the Justice League, except for all the villains being used for good. And so Amanda Waller says she can get all these villains together and get them to do what she wants to do to protect America. Okay, so the Suicide Squad consists of Will Smith as Floyd Lawton, Deadshot. He is one of really only two characters that gets any really good backstory. They didn't do a whole lot of character development for this movie because there were a lot of characters to introduce. You also have Margot Robbie as Harleen Quinzel. Jai Courtney as Digger Harkness, Captain Boomerang. Jay Hernandez as Chato Santana, El Diablo. Adewale Akinnuoye-Agbaje, and I hope I'm saying that right, as Waylon Jones, Killer Croc. And you also have Adam Beach as Slipknot, who doesn't have a very big role in here. We'll get to that in a second. And then another person that's just genuinely on the good side, a military soldier, Colonel Rick Flag, played by Joel Kinnaman. And then there's the trump card for this team, which is supposed to be June Moon or Enchantress, played by Cara Delevingne. And this one was tough for me in a lot of ways. So the movie starts out very, very choppy. You have Amanda Waller. She's talking to government agents. She's talking about every single one of these individual bad guys. And while she's talking, you get a flashback of each individual character. And each character starts out with some crazy writing on the screen that tells you what they do or what their abilities are, who they are. And it was very jumbled. And it was very visually disturbing too, because there was a lot of neon and, very bright colors. And it was just weird, man. It just, like, right from the jump, it just felt weird. So you stick with it, you want to see what's happening. It doesn't really go very far. It introduces the characters. Then you see Amanda Waller go to this prison where they're all being captured and held. And she puts this team together. She puts a little thing in their neck so that she can control them. So if they try to escape, it's an explosive. They literally get their head blown off. And then they get their first mission right away, and it's to save somebody. But here's the issue. The big trump card, Enchantress. This is the one that Amanda Waller wanted, but the one that she can't control. And Enchantress breaks free of Amanda Waller's control. And her brother, Enchantress has a brother, were both in these like little totem dolls, these little wooden totem dolls, and the spirit was kept inside these. And so Enchantress finds the other totem for her brother, takes it to this businessman, and releases Incubus, which is this really big character that I don't even know what his ability is, but he throws out this tentacle and it just destroys anything in its path. It was actually very cool looking, but you didn't know what it was. So Enchantress decides that she is going to build a machine to kill the human race, because apparently at one point the human race worshipped Enchantress and Incubus, and now she says they worship machines. So she's going to build a machine to wipe out humanity. And this was just bad. Visually, it was dumb. Like, I don't know what anybody was thinking when they created this. It wasn't even a machine. It was like some mystical shapes. And they pulled up a bunch of garbage into this ring in the sky. And this was supposed to kill mankind. Didn't make any sense. And so Enchantress breaks free of Amanda Waller her brother gives her power so that Amanda Waller doesn't kill her, because Amanda Waller has Enchantress's heart. That's a source of her power. And so she's stabbed in the heart. It looks like it's going to kill Enchantress. Goliath saves her with his own power. And then she starts building this machine, and she starts doing this really weird dance. Looked like a hula dance or something. It just looked ridiculous. The direction for this movie was just nuts. It was really just awful. So the group's together. They're trying to go fight off whatever they have to fight off, rescue whoever they're trying to rescue. They don't even know who they're trying to rescue. And while all that is happening, you get some backstories of like Harley Quinn and the Joker and their relationship and how it came to be. And it was very choppy. There was very little of the Joker in the movie. Jared Leto did fine with what he was given. I just did not like what he was given. And that's personal choice. Some people did like it. I thought going the cheap gangster route was just that, cheap. I mean, they literally turned Joker into a common street thug. It was just stupid. You get a couple of really cool moments while you see the flashbacks and you see Margot Robbie and the Joker. They're getting chased by Batman in the Batmobile. So you get Ben Affleck as Batman twice in the movie. I'll talk about the second one toward the end. And then you see Digger Harkness, Captain Boomerang, robbing a bank, getting some diamonds. And then he tangles with the Flash, and the Flash arrests him too, and that's how he gets put in this compound. So, there's a moment after everybody gets the shots in their necks, so they bring in Slipknot, played by Adam Beach, and he's in this movie maybe 10 minutes. They start out on their mission. Captain Boomerang says, you know, all this bomb in the neck stuff is crap, it's not real, I'm getting out of here. So he tries to escape with Slipknot. Slipknot is actually getting out because he can climb anything, and he's got these like scaling ropes. And so he's halfway up a building, and then Colonel Rick Flag hits a button, his head gets blown off. Okay, well now we know it's real. We get a look at these like black-faced, and then actually I say face, they didn't even have a face, just blob-headed creatures that are like this undead army now. And apparently you find out later that they're actually being created by Enchantress. And so, I don't know, man. Like the whole scene where the Suicide Squad first meets these creatures and has a fight with them, it was just campy and cheesy. There was no threat there at all. You never felt like anybody was actually in trouble. It was just bad, dude. They get to the person they're rescuing, they get to the building, and you find out it's Amanda Waller. Enchantress gets free of Amanda Waller, and so naturally Amanda Waller wants to study what she's doing in creating all these creatures. It's like this undead army. And that's what Amanda Waller says she's studying for. It's an instant army. It was just kind of dumb. So they rescue Amanda Waller. She's in a chopper. Incubus takes the chopper down, and now she's now captured by Incubus and Enchantress. So now that leads to the big final showdown where Suicide Squad has to go rescue Amanda Waller once again, this time from Enchantress herself. And even the end fight didn't make a whole lot of sense because there's like a few minutes of like fighting back and forth where the Suicide Squad got pretty much nowhere, and then Enchantress just teleported herself up by this machine that she's working on and just like force pulls all the weapons out of everybody's hands. And it's like, why didn't you lead out with that? Like, what was the point to everything that just happened? They figured out a way to kill Incubus. There's a bomb that they're going to take underneath the building where Enchantress and Incubus were. And so they get a Navy SEAL team plus Killer Croc. They go down underwater, they grab this bomb, they swim up underneath and put this bomb up. And El Diablo finally shows his true form, which is this like skeletal Indian with this Aztec dress on, and you know he can create like massive amounts of heat and fire, and so he takes Incubus to this corner where he runs out of energy, I guess, or something, whatever. He reverts back to his human form, does El Diablo, and he says, blow it. And so they blow up the area, which you think kills El Diablo, certainly kills Incubus. And so that kind of brings about the last face-off with Enchantress. And even that didn't make a whole lot of sense. I talked about how the fight, you know, just it was there, and then she pulled all her weapons off. And then Harley Quinn walks up and she says, you know, you can get my Joker back, right? Because she thinks he's dead because there was a chopper that crashed. She thought he was in it. And Enchantress is like, yes, anything you want, blah, blah, blah. And then Harley Quinn says, there's only one problem. You messed with my friends. And then cuts her chest open and pulls her heart out because she eventually got her heart back. Pulls it out, gives it to Rick Flag, who crushes the heart. That's the end of Enchantress. And so they saved the day. And Amanda Waller, who was captive by Enchantress, and Enchantress had a bunch of tentacles going through her head and reading her mind, just comes out completely perfect. And there is nothing wrong with her. And they threw a line in there that's like, how are you not dead? As Deadpool would say, that's just lazy writing. It was just bad all the way around. So the Suicide Squad, they go back to their prison cells and they get 10 years off their sentence, and it was dumb all the way around, man. Like the whole movie, the writing was really bad. Like the dialogue sometimes was atrocious. Enchantress's dancing, like that weird dancing that she was doing, creating these creatures and creating this machine that was supposed to kill humanity, it just looked bad. Like this movie had a lot of problems. It did have some cool stuff with the cameos from The Flash and Batman. And like there was one scene where you first get the look at Enchantress, and June Moon says Enchantress, that's how she transforms. And then, you know, Enchantress's hand comes up and like turns around, and then you just pull back and it was Enchantress. So it was kind of cool how they did that. But other than that, man, it was rough. Not gonna lie, it was rough. I'm a DC guy. I love these characters. I have a bunch of Suicide Squad comics right over to my left. So what they did with some of these characters was bad. Making Joker a common thug, I already said how I didn't like that. They kind of built on how Joker and Harley Quinn started their relationship, which was kind of accurate, but really rough. And I talked about how Will Smith was only one of two characters that had any cool backstory. The other I thought was Chato Santana El Diablo. It talked about, you know, him having firepower and being a thug himself. Gets in an argument with his woman and loses control and winds up accidentally killing his wife and his kids. And so he actually voluntarily, put himself in that prison. And that was another thing that I thought was kind of cool. Other than that, man, not much was. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think it deserves anything more than that. It was pretty bad overall. I don't make movies, but I also am not a chef, and when I go to a restaurant, I know if the food's good or not. This was just a bad movie. All the way around. So ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm at. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.